Alright, in this video we'll be making an emotional Afrobeat inspired by Joeboy, Ckay, and we'll be making some crazy log drums, so let's get started. Alright, to begin with, let's adjust our BPM to 100. I'll be using an electric piano, the stage 73V for our chord progression, and then the preset selected is 1972 Latin Fusion. I have already set my scale to A minor, and you can do this by hitting the drop down menu, Views, Scale highlighting, and select whatever scale you want to work in. And if you want to make the scale highlighted more visible, open a sampler track, hit the drop down menu, Stamps, and from the melodic scale category, select the natural minor. Now that we have done this, I am going to select my tonic note, that's the A, and all the notes of that scale will be selected as well. Now from here, we just do Ctrl+C to copy, Ctrl+V to paste, and then hit the Ctrl+ arrow up to bring it up an octave. I would repeat this process a couple of times for it to spread across a wider pitch range. And if your ghost channel isn't selected, you won't see a duplicated copy of the highlighted scale in your VSO channel on the piano roll. So to activate the ghost channel, hit the command Alternate+V. Alright, so if you are still finding it difficult to make chord, let's try this method to make it a lot more simplified. Select all the notes of the scale, and from here now we build the tonic triads on each note of the scale. So basically you just skip each chord note and select the next note twice. I am just going to repeat same process to build these triads. Well, these are all the chords associated with the minor key. So when you mix and match these chords sequentially, you have a chord progression. I already have a chord progression in mind. That's the 1, 6, 3, 7. From here, let's quickly arrange them in order of our progressions. Well, if I play, this is what it sounds like. Sounds okay, but there are jumps from here and there which disconnect the chords. In order to glue this progression together, we will use chord inversions. But first, let me adjust the rhythm of the chords. I just stretch for each chord to feel 2 bars long. So the tip here to do inversions is to check for notes which are common between one chord and then the immediate next. Now you can see that the A and C are common, so we move them close. It's either I invert the A minor or the F major. And then we move on to the next chord in our progression. So from the F major to the C major, the C is in its perfect spot already, so we just leave it as it is. Now we move to the last chord. I'll take these 2 notes and then move them down. Now because the chord spread 2 bars long, there are empty space within, so it's only right that we add a counter melody to fill that space. So I just made this simple top line. I'll drag it to the C and make adjustments for the note to be in the scale. So from there you can build upon it, but we'll just keep it simple. So with the 4th bar, let's just cut this part and then do the same with the 8th bar as well. Now from here we randomize the velocity to humanize it, strum a little bit, and then lower the velocity for it to hit a lot more softer. And this is what it sounds like. Sounds sad enough, huh? Well, I have this whistle bell from Omnisphere selected. I will only copy the top line from our melody and then paste it right here. From here, I'll select the melodies and route it to a mixer track. Click and drag to select. Select an empty mixer track, right click and route selected channels starting from this track. The bells are too loud, so just turn it down for it to blend well. Now what we do here is that we layer the melody with atmospheric dreamy part for more depth and texture. The lush part from Analog Lab 5 sounds awesome for emotional beats. So we just select this space, Ctrl+C to copy, and then select the Analog Lab 5, Ctrl+V to paste. I will then open the melody and then take out the top lines and then the bass as well. Alright, to save some space, I'll just render it as audio clip and then continue from there. So you just have to arm the selected channel from the mixer track, then hit Alternate+R to render it. I will rename it as pad 1 and link it to a mixer track. From here, I think I would layer the pad again with another pad that focuses more on the mid-range. I have Triton open up, click on keyboards and we would select the white pad EP preset. So we'll do the same process, copy the pad and then paste it right here. And I just rendered it as audio clip and renamed it as part 2. And if I am to play everything as it is, this is how it sounds like. Very muddy. So let's add some processing to make a clean mix. For the E-piano, I have RC20, the vinyl 3 preset, and I have made some tweaks here and there to fit the vibe that I'm going in for. Air pressure distortion, a little bit of space, and then adjust the EQ a little bit. So for the bells, let's do fruity reverb. Mostly what I do is that I start off with a preset and then make further changes to it from there. Let's add some fresh air for the high ends. And then from here we just mess around with the faders for it to blend in well. Maybe EQ to cut the top ends. And then fruity delay 3, turning off the tempo sync for the delay to be out of time. And I'll add a very short delay to give us this harsh effect. From here, I'll follow that with a gross beat to create a swirling pad effect. I'll select the sidechain. And then I'll adjust the volume to blend the wet and dry signal together. Last, let's add reverb for space. Now with everything sounding glued together, let's add a bass line from Purity. I have the A and A bass guitar selected. So we'll basically copy the bass note of our chord progression and paste it to the bass channel and make this simple groove. From here, I'll change the snap settings to none to manually adjust the position of each note. This process makes the bass more humanized because it's off time a little bit. You basically get the point, so let's make some drums. For the kick, a 4-step kick pattern. Rim shot, just these 2 steps and then loop it. I'll go into the piano roll, select and then Ctrl B to copy it over. From here we layer with another rim and make this typical pattern. Again we go into the piano roll, select and Ctrl B to copy it over. Dragging in a shaker loop. Don't forget to add your swing. And now we can add a steady conga pattern. I want to make a few changes to the kick pattern, so let's do this triplet with the kick for variation. Adding more picks. If the drum still doesn't sound full enough, you can drag in a pick loop for more depth. So quickly let's route the drums to the mixer track. So from here, I'll drag in a clap with a lot of reverb. And finally, a drum roll. Now I'll hit the drop down menu and split by channel. Get rid of the pattern. Now click on the first pattern, hold shift and click on the last pattern to select all. Drag it to the playlist. Well, I just rearrange it, put all the melodies on top and then the drums below. And then we do Ctrl+A to select, Ctrl+B to paste it. So from here we have our framework to do basic song arrangement. So with this basic arrangement, for every 8 bars, we'll bring in new elements. So the first 8 bars will be our intro. The intro usually features only melody, so we'll just take out all the drums. Our next 8 bars will be the verse. So let me just quickly do this. So for every 8 bar loop, I've added a time marker to guide us with the basic song arrangement. So now we have the intro, verse, pre-chorus, and an instrumental break. So before the chorus, let's just make a drum break by just taking out all the drums from this part. And I'll just make this chord progression unique and make changes to it. So click on top of the pattern and then select make unique. So let me just take out the top lines and maybe make the kick on the pre-chorus too unique and make some changes to it. Yeah, it sounds cool, so let's just drag it to the chorus too. So now from here we just add more melodies to our respective part of the song if it is required. Well, I have the clean mute preset from Purity selected. Let's make this simple pattern. So this is our bass note of the scale. Select all and then hit Alt plus U to bring up the chopper. And I'll make some tweaks to adjust the rhythm from here. For effects, we have the RC20 with the short slapback preset, followed by Valhalla Supermassive, and finally a reverb. With all this done, the melody still doesn't have dimensions to it, so I'll layer it with a muted guitar from Purity. Copy and paste same pattern, and then from here we pan both sound left and right to fill the stereo field. So for effect on the muted guitar, I have a delay on it. So from here I'm going to select these two tracks and route it to an empty mixer track and make it wider with the Waves S1 stereo imager. Now let's add a string for the chorus. So the easiest way to go about this melody is to follow the chord progression and then add some variation to it. Well, I'll just copy and bring same element an octave down and then go to the control panel at the bottom to pan it left and right. So for effect, let's do the Waves AA2. And then I want to add more dimension to it, so I'll just add a Valhalla Supermassive. And lastly, a reverb to make it sound bigger than it seems. So let's just cut some of the low end. And I'll render it as audio clip. Now from here, because we'll be adding log drums at the instrumental break, I would like to make the string pause, like put effect on it so that the volume ducks and then come up. Now to the log drums. Fruity DX10 and preset, you select log drums. I will play with the parameters to adjust the tone of the log drum. So what we basically do here is that we follow the root note of our progression to make the bouncy log drum groove. I'll make this first pattern. And then drag it to the bass notes of our chord progression. Now from here we add variations for the log drum not to sound too repetitive. So this is what I have. Now we are going to add more attack to the log drums. So we just clone an instance of the Fruity DS10 again and then select the harpsichord to add more attack. Copy and paste. Now we are going to clone again and manipulate another log drum sound to create another layer. So the log drums is taking shape now. Now we have to layer it with a sub bass for the low end. I'm using a one-shot sub bass. To the envelope settings, turn up the hold and then everything else should be down. So to check if our bass is in key, it's already written there as C. But if you don't have it, you just right click and then edit in Edison, the little flag icon, detect pitch region and check what the bass has been tuned to. You can see it's tuned to C. Copy same log drum pattern and then paste it on the sub bass. You can just lengthen some of the notes for it to give it a sustained vibe. Lastly, a snare to highlight some of the log drum hits. Now from here, we select and link the log drums to the mixer track. So from here, I'll sidechain the log drum bars to the kick so that if the log drum hits, the kick will drag a little bit. On the bottom of the kick mixer track, we just sidechain to this track. And on the kick insert track, we add a filter limiter. Select the compressor option, right click and select log drum. Now from here, we mess around with the threshold and ratio for the desired effect. Now let's drag all this selection to the next bar. Maybe add a little drum break and this kick to introduce the next verse. And basically end it the way we began, so we'll drag the intro and then use it as our outro. Now from here, we just add some transitions to keep the arrangement more interesting. So from here, we just listen to the track entirely and then level it up. Well, let me just select all the melody and then bus it to an empty track. I'll use the CLA2A to kind of widen and compress it. I will follow that with the SSL bass compressor to catch the peaks. You can see it only compresses when the bass comes in. Now let's right click on the master fader and create an automation. We just copy the value and create a fade out effect at the end. So finally, on the master bars, I will insert a certain tool. It's just a saturator. And then Ozone 9 maximizer to increase the gain. Like always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.